Okay, great. Thanks so much. Welcome and thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Linda Bernicki, and I'm the Director of Community Development and Indigenous Engagement with the Rural Development Network. And as we gather across Turtle Island for this conference, I wanted to start by sharing as a national organization that RDN acknowledges and recognizes the importance of these lands and our role on these lands for advocating with First Nation, Métis, and Inuit communities for better funding and opportunities for programs and services, and to affirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships and to improve our own understanding of First Nation, Inuit, Métis peoples, and their diverse cultures. And RDN is committed to connecting our programming to the recommendations of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls Report, and the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples as viewpoints for a reconciliation journey. So I wanted to start by sharing a little bit about who RDN is, and then the project team, and then dive right into the project itself. So who is RDN? Well, the Rural Development Network is a nonprofit organization that works across Turtle Island. We focus on rural sustainability and creating tangible community impact. We understand that rural, remote, and Indigenous communities have unique needs, challenges, and opportunities. And this is mostly because of the different realities of the social and economic structures and infrastructure that exist, or unfortunately, so often do not exist in rural, remote, and Indigenous communities. So some of our current work includes addressing rural homelessness and responding to the national housing crisis by working with communities on housing needs assessments, housing strategies, financial analysis, community engagement, and working with communities and services to access capital funding and navigate all the different funding streams. We're working with communities to drive transformational long-term change by addressing policy, bylaw, and process barriers that realtors, housing developers, and municipalities often face when trying to improve housing choice in their community. We are also working with communities with rural immigration and the integration of newcomers, policy development, and research that includes detailed environmental scans and literature reviews. We are honored to have an Indigenous team that is focused on uplifting First Nation, Métis, and Inuit communities and supporting them and all of RDN's work to thrive through creating and sustaining Indigenous-led initiatives. In order to ensure that this project was for Indigenous by Indigenous, it was vital that this work be led by an Indigenous team. And so I had the honor of working with this team. And I want to recognize and acknowledge each of them that you see up on your screen for their time, their dedication, their knowledge, and their own personal stories that they shared. The Indigenous Advisory Board was formed to act as an additional guiding force to ensure that our approach was always in a good way and to provide a real diverse perspective in helping shape the project. So what is this project? Well, thanks to funding from CMHC and the federal government Reaching Home Community Capacity Program, and informed by our partnering nations, we were able to co-create a First Nations-led, culturally sensitive, and trauma-informed data collection storytelling toolkit that adapts to the unique needs of individual First Nation communities. The outcome of this tool is really to gain a better understanding of houselessness on First Nation communities across Turtle Island. When engaging with elders, leadership, and those with lived and living experience, Their stories really informed the need for this project to move forward, and it informs the outcomes of this project. So I recognize that this information will not surprise many of you. Key findings from the project environmental scan and literature review found that there is limited documented research being conducted. There is no concrete definition of First Nation specific homelessness that the existing research falls short of understanding of home and homelessness in the context of First Nations peoples. Sorry, I'm having issues with my mouse here. Thistle, Trevelyan, and Rubont state that First Nation communities, especially those on reserves, are disadvantaged by Western and colonial methods of data collection, and that the current enumeration methods are informed by the federal government's definition of homelessness, which does not fully capture the experiences of First Nations and other Indigenous peoples. There's a lack of easy to use, accessible, and timely accurate data. And data does not include the number of First Nation peoples living on reserve. Understanding all of this, we developed an approach that was based on the fact that, well, housing is a human right. We used the 12 dimensions of Indigenous homelessness to guide our conversations, and UNDRIP really informed our principles. Based on the lens of reconciliation, data sovereignty was a priority. So we participated in the OCAP training course and partnered with the University of Manitoba, our Data Indigenous. So for those of you that don't know, our Data Indigenous has been able to support Indigenous communities across Canada in a process of data sovereignty and community development through the use of innovative technology and collaboration. Our Data Indigenous app is open to any Indigenous communities in Canada that are looking to collect and gather data in their community. It has been designed to be easy and to be used by community members and leadership. The app can gather secure and independent data. And in the name of data and research sovereignty, the app is versatile and adaptable to meet the needs of community looking to collect their own data. We decided to take a three-phased approach: knowledge exchange, storytelling and gathering, and reports and reflection. The team was invited to 6 First Nation communities from coast to coast to coast and spent the first year visiting these communities and listening to stories. The focus really was on relationship building. We co-led sharing circles in the communities, and we developed agreed upon data sharing protocols. Well, what did we hear from this initial sharing circles across Canada? Well, we heard participants say, "What does home mean to you?" We heard a home that is safe and up to code. Home means connection to the land. Home means clean, running water and ability to meet all my basic needs. Home means access to heat, water, and shelter. Home means a place to make memories. Home means belonging. Home means a place to have family gatherings. Home means to me not feeling like a burden to anyone. So from there, we drafted the storytelling tool. We received feedback from the participating communities, and we adapted it based on the recommendations from our Indigenous Advisory Board. And from there, what we did, it was blessed by elders, and then it was ready to be distributed into the community to start to collect the data. Before it was distributed, we provided training and support to ensure success. And as the storytelling tool was distributed, we started to receive lots of stories and lots of different experiences. So phase two really was focused on the data entry, the data cleaning, the data analysis. Then we identify key themes from each community and co-occurring themes. We developed reports for each community and shared the deliverables. We built out our toolkit for best practices and mobilization. We received community feedback. We shared the information with all the communities, and we finalized the storytelling guide, and we are celebrating it through knowledge mobilization, such as speaking at events such as this. We're excited and proud to share that we implemented a two-eyed seeing approach to the guide and had Cree translated and embedded throughout the guide. This project really represents a step forward in addressing the gap in understanding and documenting houselessness within First Nation communities. These lessons learned and the methodologies developed offer a blueprint for similar initiatives, emphasizing the importance of community-led, culturally sensitive approaches in research and data collection. As you take a look at this quote, and as we're finishing up, how can you promote Indigenous data sovereignty? I'd encourage each of us to reflect upon that, no matter what our role is and what we're doing. Thank you so much for your time and listening. And I'm happy to take any questions.